Suppose you buy a veterinary clinic with a full appointment book, 6 exam rooms, and years of local trust. On Monday, it looks like one of the safest businesses in town. Pets will always need vaccines, blood tests, dental care, and surgery. Their owners cannot download an examination or postpone a broken leg until interest rates improve. On Friday, one veterinarian resigns. Within weeks, 2 exam rooms are quiet. Surgeries disappear from the calendar. Technicians begin looking elsewhere. Some families follow the doctor they already trust. The lease remains. The loan remains. The laboratory contract remains. The equipment payments remain. This is the first surprise of owning a veterinary clinic. You thought you bought rooms, machines, and a dependable stream of patients. What you really bought was a fragile system for turning scarce medical judgment and public trust into revenue. And if either one leaves the building, the animals may still be waiting while the business begins to fail. So what does it actually mean to own a veterinary clinic? From the waiting room, the answer appears simple. A family brings in a pet. A veterinarian examines it. The family pays a bill. Behind that bill is a small hospital, a laboratory, a pharmacy, a retailer, and an employer operating under one roof. Before the first appointment, the owner needs a suitable property. Exam rooms need plumbing and surfaces that can be cleaned repeatedly. Surgery requires controlled space, anesthesia, monitoring, and sterilization. X-ray equipment may require shielding. Medications and vaccines need secure, temperature-controlled storage. Animals need kennels, ventilation, and separation from one another. Then come the machines. There may be dental equipment, digital imaging, ultrasound, blood analyzers, surgical instruments, oxygen systems, autoclaves, refrigerators, computers, and practice management software. Each machine can improve care and create revenue. Each one can also require financing, maintenance, calibration, supplies, and training before it produces a single dollar. Inventory creates another claim on cash. Vaccines expire. Prescription diets occupy shelves. Surgical supplies must remain sterile. Controlled medications require records and security. A clinic can be profitable on paper, while cash is sitting inside products that have not yet been sold. But the most important assets do not appear on the equipment list. They arrive for work every morning. A general practice needs veterinarians, veterinary technicians, assistants, receptionists, and managers. Larger hospitals may also need specialists, overnight teams, and dedicated laboratory staff. In 2024, the median annual wage for a veterinarian in the United States was $125,510. For veterinary technologists and technicians, it was $45,980. Those figures are wages, not the full cost to the clinic. The employer may also pay payroll taxes, benefits, insurance, licensing, continuing education, recruiting, and overtime. And the labor problem is not only cost, it is availability. The Bureau of Labor Statistics expects employment of veterinarians to grow by 10% from 2024 to 2034. It also projects about 3,000 openings each year. That sounds like growth. To an owner with an empty position, it means every clinic is competing for a limited number of qualified people. A machine can be financed. A licensed veterinarian with clinical experience cannot be ordered for delivery. This changes the meaning of capacity. A clinic may contain 6 exam rooms, but if it has only enough doctors and technicians to operate 4, the other 2 are not productive assets. They are furnished rent. Veterinary time is also perishable. If the 10:30 appointment is empty today, it cannot be stored and sold twice tomorrow. If a surgery is cancelled, the reserved team, room, and equipment may generate nothing during that period. The owner is therefore not selling square footage. The owner is selling carefully scheduled minutes of professional judgment. The revenue usually begins with preventive care. Wellness examinations, vaccines, parasite testing, and routine blood work are repeatable services. They help detect problems early, but they also create the relationship that brings a family back later. The annual examination may be a modest invoice. Economically, it is the front door. The next layer is diagnostics. Blood tests, urine tests, imaging, and pathology turn uncertainty into information. If some tests can be performed inside the clinic, the patient may receive an answer faster and the practice may keep more of the revenue. But an in-house laboratory is not free money. The analyzer needs reagents, quality control, maintenance, and enough test volume to justify its cost. A sophisticated machine used twice a week may be medically useful and financially disappointing at the same time. Procedures create larger invoices. Dental cleanings, wound treatment, mass removals, and surgery use more staff, more supplies, and more space. The price rises because the clinic is not selling only the veterinarian's hands. It is selling anesthesia, monitoring, sterilization, technical labor, medical risk, and time that cannot be used for another patient. Medication and prescription products create another source of revenue, but online pharmacies and large retailers make prices easy to compare. A clinic still offers immediate access, professional guidance, and convenience. It no longer owns every prescription simply because it wrote it. Urgent and emergency care may charge more because it maintains people and equipment when ordinary clinics are closed. But a higher bill does not guarantee a higher margin. An emergency hospital must be ready at 3 in the morning, even if no patient arrives at 3 in the morning. Then several critical cases may arrive at once. The business pays for readiness before it knows whether readiness will be used. Some clinics also sell wellness plans with a monthly payment for routine services or discounts. These plans can improve preventive care and smooth part of the clinic's cash flow. But they do not turn veterinary medicine into a perfect subscription business. The plan may cover vaccines and examinations. It does not remove the financial shock of an accident, cancer diagnosis, or emergency surgery. From a distance, the demand still looks irresistible. The American pet industry reached approximately $158 billion in spending during 2025. About 95 million American households owned at least one pet. This is one reason investment groups became interested in veterinary medicine. The market contained many independent practices with loyal local clients. A larger owner could buy several clinics, centralize accounting, purchasing, software, marketing, and human resources, then negotiate better contracts across the group. The seller could receive cash and spend less time managing payroll or repairing the air conditioner. The buyer would receive an operating clinic, trained employees, and a local reputation. In theory, scale could improve both medicine and economics. A larger group may finance advanced imaging, extend opening hours, recruit specialists, and spread administrative costs across many locations. It may create referral networks that a single clinic could never build alone. But scale introduces a different question. Is the clinic using capital to improve care, or using medical care to satisfy the capital? The sums involved are far larger than most clients realize. In 2020, the Federal Trade Commission reviewed a veterinary transaction valued at approximately $5 billion, involving National Veterinary Associates and Compassion First. In 2022, the agency examined a proposed $1.1 billion acquisition of Sage Veterinary Partners and a separate $1.65 billion acquisition involving Ethos Veterinary Health. The Commission required clinic divestitures and imposed restrictions because it alleged that some of the combinations could reduce competition in particular local markets for specialty and emergency services. That last part matters. Veterinary care may be a national industry, but competition is local. If a dog needs emergency surgery tonight, the owner is not comparing every hospital in the country. The realistic choices are the hospitals that can be reached before the condition gets worse. Two nearby clinics may therefore represent an entire market for a particular specialty. If one company controls both, a frightened customer may have no practical alternative. This does not mean corporate ownership is automatically harmful. It means the benefits of scale and the risks of concentration can exist at the same time. The medical decision must still belong to the veterinarian. The building owner may choose the software, the staffing budget, and the price schedule. But diagnosis and treatment depend on a professional relationship among the veterinarian, the client, and the patient. That creates the central conflict in the business. The clinic must earn enough money to pay skilled people, replace equipment, and remain available. At the same time, a frightened family must believe that the recommended test is necessary for the animal, not merely useful for the revenue target. Trust is what allows the invoice to exist. Pricing makes that trust increasingly difficult to protect. Modern veterinary medicine can do more than it once could. Clinics offer better imaging, laboratory testing, anesthesia, and specialist treatment. Staff wages and medication costs rise. Equipment becomes more capable and more expensive. The owner sees the cost structure behind the treatment. The client sees the total at the bottom of the estimate. Most families do not have an employer-funded pet health plan, absorbing the majority of that bill. They may use insurance, savings, credit, or a payment plan, but the decision is often immediate and personal. In a 2025 Gallup study, 52% of American dog and cat owners said they had skipped or declined needed veterinary care during the previous year. Among those people, 71% cited cost as an important reason. Roughly 2/3 of all respondents said they could spend no more than $1,000 on life-saving care. This is not simply a customer problem or a clinic problem. It is a collision between two real limits. The clinic may genuinely need the price. The family may genuinely be unable to pay it. Sometimes the team can offer several treatment paths, delay a non-urgent procedure, or refer the client to a lower-cost resource. Sometimes there is no inexpensive version of the necessary care. The financial discussion then becomes part of the medical outcome. It also becomes an emotional cost for the staff. Veterinarians and technicians may know what could help, while also knowing the client cannot afford it. They can be accused of caring only about money while standing inside a business that must collect money to remain open. The numbers show how this pressure reaches the industry. According to the Veterinary Hospital Managers Association, overall practice revenue rose about 2.4% during 2025. At the same time, patient visits declined by roughly 1.3 to 1.4%, and new client activity fell more sharply. Revenue can therefore rise while fewer patients walk through the door. For a while, higher revenue per visit can cover the difference. But if customers postpone preventive care, smaller problems may become larger ones. The clinic raises prices because costs rise. Some clients visit less because prices rise. That is not an unlimited growth engine. It is a narrowing bridge. Now place debt on that bridge. A buyer may borrow to purchase the practice, acquire the property, renovate the building, or install equipment. The price may be based on expected future earnings. If a key veterinarian leaves, those earnings can disappear faster than the loan payment. The equipment stays with the clinic. The relationships may not. Clients often trust a particular doctor, not a corporate logo or legal entity. Employees may also follow a respected colleague. A buyer can own the patient records and still lose the human network that created the revenue. This is key person risk in its most personal form. It is why a careful buyer should not begin with last year's total sales. The buyer should ask how much revenue depends on each veterinarian. How many new clients return for a second visit? How long do doctors and technicians stay? How much of the schedule is preventive care, surgery, or emergency work? Which equipment earns enough to justify its replacement? How much inventory expires? How many invoices remain unpaid? The buyer should separate growth caused by more visits from growth caused only by higher prices. The buyer should review complaints, staff turnover, online pharmacy competition, and the number of realistic alternatives nearby. The buyer should also ask what happens if the selling veterinarian leaves 6 months earlier than expected. In 2024, fewer than 1 in 4 private practice veterinarians were practice owners, according to the American Veterinary Medical Association. That helps explain why ownership is changing. Younger veterinarians may prefer salary, benefits, and freedom from administration. Many also face educational debt. Older owners may want retirement, and a buyer with enough capital to complete the transaction. Corporate groups are often willing buyers. The result is not a simple story of good independents and bad corporations. An independent owner can underinvest, overwork the staff, or charge aggressively. A corporate owner can provide capital, systems, and excellent care. The real test is whether the financial model protects the medical system that produces the revenue. In the best version, the clinic retains good people, schedules them intelligently, and explains prices clearly. Preventive care builds long relationships. Equipment is productive rather than decorative. The practice earns money because clients receive useful judgment and reliable care. In the bad version, the buyer pays too much. A senior doctor retires, another leaves. Technicians become difficult to replace. Visits fall. Wages and equipment costs rise. The owner increases prices to protect the margin. More clients postpone care. The waiting room may still look busy. The balance sheet may already be sick. That is the central truth of owning a veterinary clinic. Demand for care is strong. Demand at any price is not unlimited. People love their animals. Love is not a payment method. Veterinarians want to provide excellent care. Good intentions do not pay for an imaging system. Investors want growth. A clinic cannot manufacture experienced doctors on a quarterly schedule. At the beginning, one veterinarian left and 2 exam rooms became quiet. Nothing happened to the building. Nothing happened to the machines. What disappeared was the productive relationship among a doctor, a team, and the families who trusted them. That relationship is the real asset. It is not listed beside the inventory. It cannot be financed separately. It takes years to build, and only a few bad decisions to weaken. If you enjoy seeing what familiar businesses really own and what can quietly destroy them, subscribe. Because the next business may also have a full waiting room, expensive equipment, and growing revenue. The question is whether the trust that created those numbers will still be there tomorrow.